Yo, what is going on, and welcome to another episode of the Urban Pitch Podcast, a beautiful game of life, part of the Believe Network. I'm Ramsey Abushala, editor of UrbanPitch.com. Julio Monterosa, Bridget Flores. What's going on, y'all?
What's going on?
Chilling.
We got a good one today. We have a very special.
We're excited to get started already.
Yeah,
the homie is back.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
I've said this every time we have a repeat guest, but we love having repeat guests on because we get to get into the stuff that we didn't get into the first time. So
this has been in the making for the last 2 years.
Yeah, seriously.
Definitely.
That and we'll talk about it a little bit, but the event I've been waiting for it since you dropped your first one.
Yeah.
Bridget even did her hair like this.
Fellas, pull up the Vinos. Come on now, Bridget
I'm about
outside.
to pull up and pop out.
Hey,
like,
come
you know.
on, let's get it.
But before we get ahead of ourselves, let's give a
Yeah.
proper introduction. Co-founder of 5ASIDE's Media, co-founder of WavyFooty, founder of Vino Vriday.
Yes.
It's not blurry. The screen's not blurry. It's just the motion.
Nah,
Gabe Guisado.
I appreciate y'all, man.
We drinking
I
again,
appreciate
y'all.
Man.
Mine is tea.
That was that's a good intro. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank you. That was fire.
It's good to have you, man. It's good to have you on this side of the country. How you been? It's been a couple years since we had a whole 5ASIDE crew over here.
Yeah, it's been crazy.
What's the last few years been like for you guys?
It's been nuts. I mean, I think probably the biggest thing is just how tapped in we are with like some of the biggest leagues in the world now. So working consistently with La Liga, Bundesliga, recently have something with Serie A as well. Done a couple of videos for Prem in the US too. So just being able to tap in with some of the largest leagues in the world, not just in footy, but in all the sports is crazy. The events are getting to another scale as well. So speaking of La Liga, we worked with Las Palmas to host the Canary Cup.
Yeah, that's
so
right.
their first ever activation in the US. We hosted a soccer tournament in Brooklyn by the pier, so you could see like the skyline in New York City. And we actually raffled off 2 tickets, full expenses paid, to go watch Las Palmas VIP against Barcelona.
Dang.
And they actually beat Barcelona in the leg at Barcelona, so they went to Las Palmas to see the second leg.
Yeah.
Not second leg, the second match. Yeah, you know what I mean? So to be able to actually see like 2 people who came to our event with the president of Las Palmas, got to watch them play Barcelona. Like that's an incredible sort of thing. So yeah, it's just amazing sort of things we're doing. Documentary stuff in the works as well. Shout out Sebastian for some of the stuff he's doing. Yeah, it's been crazy, honestly. Yeah.
The group you guys have, I feel like every single person has like their own little specialty.
Yeah.
And like it's so cool to see you guys work and do the things that you do. And you know, we've been watching over here and just like, yeah, like we gotta
Feeling all the FOMO.
I appreciate it.
But you know, Bridge brought it up too. You mentioned events.
Yeah.
You do your own events too. Vino
Yeah,
Vriday.
facts.
It's been going off. Coming to LA for the first one.
Yes,
That's why you're here.
of course.
We'll
Thank
be
you so
tapped in tomorrow.
Yeah.
Talk about Vino Vriday a little
Yeah.
bit because you know we're sipping on some sparkling rosé.
That's a fact.
How did that come into? Because last time you were here, I don't think that had started yet.
No, did not. It's been going quick. So the whole concept behind it was specifically mostly actually around the music more than the vino. I will get to the vino portion of it, but I always felt like when I would go to an R&B event, it would always be the older music. So if you see R&B on a flyer, you're expecting Usher and Keisha Cole, Fantasia, all these legends who have these hit songs that everyone sings along to the club. But none of the new stuff, or not nearly as much. So even with stars like Bryson Tiller, SZA, Party Next Door, et cetera.
Nippa, I was in a Nippa like.
Nippa?
Yeah.
My dog. That's a crazy shout. That's like a low-key UK singer. I don't know if y'all listen to Nippa
Yeah,
too.
well, he's on the Larry June.
Oh,
yeah.
that's how you discovered it.
That's the
West
connection.
Coast connection right there too. So yeah, I just felt like so I first was in Philly after graduation, and I thought, okay, if Philly's missing something, that's all right, because I know New York's gonna have it. Then I moved to New York in 2022, and I'd also grown up always going to the city, so it was always like home away from home. I'm like, okay, boom, it's gonna be here. Nightlife in New York is amazing, but new age R&B as the focus, I still couldn't find. And so as I got more into just like, I called it consumer research going to parties, but I was just with my friends.
Yeah,
but it literally
Hey,
turned into
respectfully.
research. You know
on
what
a
I mean?
resume, that's what it is.
It's what it was. And then also, as y'all know, I do photography. So I was actually doing photography for parties before my own hosting. And it's through that and through my music curation, I'm realizing like this just does not exist outside. So how do I create a space for bringing this music to the forefront? It's not the only genre, but just that this is kind of the branding behind it. Even wine as a nightlife beverage in the US is not nearly as popular as tequila and rum and beer and all that sort of thing. So, you know, having the wine, I have all the roses at the event, the new age R&B, just the whole branding of it just creates a very unique experience. And I think that I was able to bring it to LA because it has just a unique energy that whether you know me or not, just find the right venue, people will see this, like, oh, this is cool, let me pop out. to it. So yeah, just been trying to create something that I didn't see.
And how many times
personally.
did I ask you to bring it out?
She did ask a bunch of times. And your homie Jessica pulled up to
the one in New York.
Yeah, and that was actually my first ever late night one.
Okay.
So that was my first one, being like 10 to 4 a.m. because New York we go till 4. The rest had been maybe ending at midnight or 1 or been day parties. That was my first late night one, only in September. But she pulled up, had a great time.
She
I was like, no, I promise you, it's coming to LA. And here we are. Yeah.
I had to put Jess on.
Yeah.
10 to 4. Yeah.
That's why I did 2. I'm like,
can you imagine 10 to 4?
I'm
We don't gotta
be
go
there in
nowhere.
June, so
I'll be real, because
I do that out here.
2 is low key, like, for if it's a really lit night, that's the beginning of the peak, I'd say.
Right.
It's 2.
Yeah.
But here it's like,
Yeah,
so that's
sadly.
yeah.
But we're excited to have
It's
it
gonna be fun.
tomorrow.
Yeah, for sure.
We're gonna have to share a little recap next week, whatever.
Got
I'm
to.
excited for. I know when Jess told me she was going to New York, I had seen your post and I was like, Jess, please go to this event for me. Like, you're gonna have a great time.
Yeah.
And she had told me that they didn't really have plans, so I was like, just pull
perfect.
up. Like, it might work out, might not. And she came back and she told me she had a great time.
That's
That
awesome.
she loved it.
I appreciate you for the support.
Yeah,
honestly.
so we're gonna be
Yeah.
there tomorrow.
I love it. I'm very, very excited. For sure.
Dang. I'm just thinking 10 to 4.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
You ain't never trying to go home. Like,
At 2 in the morning, I'm already out here like slithered.
oh, you ready to go? Yeah, listen, bro.
You got 2 more hours? Oh, that's crazy.
You can start later. Like,
Yeah.
often the free before we'll do like 12 in New York. Because like there's almost not that there's nothing before 12, but 12 is nowhere near close to the peak.
So
of
the
any
pregame
parties.
out there is popping.
Yeah, later. Everything's
Yeah.
just later. You can have dinner later, go out later. So
That's
stay
great
out
though, because
later.
sometimes you want to go to dinner.
Yeah.
Ends like around 10.
And
you
some
get-
places are 6
Yeah.
actually. Yeah.
Sheesh.
6 a.m.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
Madrid. Yeah. Not too many, but most is 4. But
Yeah, because I mean that's like almost like you mentioned Madrid. Like
Yeah.
it is like a European thing because like
Yeah.
you know
Yeah.
like they're having dinner 9, 10,
Yeah.
11.
I'm
PM,
Spanish. I can tell you, growing
you know,
up, we eat mad late dinner. I'm like, bro, I need to go to bed. Why are we not? Like, you know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah.
I know that sometimes when you had your events out on the East Coast, like you would have like sponsorships with like different wine brands. Do you have anything like that for the LA
Not for
one?
this one. So one thing I haven't done yet is my late night ones have a sponsor because that usually requires some sort of like high level investment into the bar. So they'd have to like, let's say buy out $2K to give out the free drinks versus if you do a more social mixer kind of energy, that's when you can have a sponsor and they're a little bit more loose with it. But nightlife to have a sponsor, they usually have to dish out like a few racks to be honest. So in the works though, Bel Air, holla at me. You know what I'm saying?
There we go.
There you
Put
go,
it out
there
there,
you go.
manifesting
You
it.
feel me? Got to.
But I'm interested in the music portion as
Yeah.
well because you know you talk about R&B.
Yeah.
Like there's so many iterations of it going back to the 60s, like the soul
For
era,
sure.
like Marvin Gaye, Aretha Franklin. Like there's a lot of my music that I listen to. Like that's part of that.
Yeah.
And then you know going into like the 80s, the 90s. Like there's so many different. Like with all music, it's like that with rock, with rap, with pop, but. You know, you think about R&B, you see. I know Julio knows this probably better than most people, but it's like the like iconic music videos from like the
Crying in the
90s
Rain,
to the
yeah,
2000s. Julio made a little mini one over here.
I feel like I feel like I might have seen that.
No, so
It popped off. It has like what 10K views.
No, yeah, it was one dancing in the rain, and then I was one on top of the Jeep.
I feel
Yeah.
like
Oh
I
my
saw
God.
this.
Bridget recorded both.
That's friendship
You
right
could,
there. That's friendship
you
right
could
there.
say I'm the brains behind
You
the
know what I
magic.
mean?
Director of the music video.
the
Right.
one rainy day it was out here. Like
was out
Julio
here.
was like just
Facts.
like
I was
in
like,
his
Julio,
bag.
you know
y'all
what
don't
you
be
should
getting
do?
rain. That's
No,
true.
so I was like,
Yeah. And
Yeah,
so
that's
so
funny.
It
we
was
did
dope though. It was hella funny.
Was that like a year ago-ish?
No, this is literally
This
like
is
a
like
month
couple,
ago.
like,
But it was relatively
same
no,
year,
no,
though,
no, that's the one in the Jeep was a month ago.
Sorry.
But it was
the
relatively
cheap
recent,
one.
like
Yeah,
last
yeah,
year
yeah.
or so.
The one in the
January?
rain was like
It
earlier
was
this
in
year.
Probably like
January.
February.
I feel like I
Late
saw this. I feel like I definitely saw this. Yeah.
But so okay, back
Yeah,
to what I was
back
saying.
to-
though.
yeah.
Like
It's crazy.
when you hear like R&B, that's
Yeah.
what you think of. Whether
Yeah,
it's you know the 60s or like Whitney Houston or you know Tyrese or Genuine or all those acts. But there is you know you mentioned a few names like SZA, like I like Sir.
Sir is incredible. From out here too. From out
Brent
here.
Faiyaz, yeah, he's from Inglewood, I think.
Yep.
There still is like a decent amount of like R&B, that quality R&B that's it's putting out. And you had a great post a couple weeks ago talking about how R&B isn't dead.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
like you know just kind of breaking down regionally and
Yep.
whether it's in the UK with like Thames and some of the artists out there. And why do you think that the current like generation of R&B is not as revered as some of like the previous iterations?
Yeah, I think one piece of it is how much it merged with rap. So when I made that R&B isn't dead post. I consider new age R&B. I would say Take Care was like the cutoff of the switch. So Drake being that rapper slash singer, that kind of different tone, different style singing, and The Weeknd coming in as well. I feel like one, the music got darker, and then rap got more melodic, and now the rappers were singing, and everyone wanted to be like Drake, who was at the top, to do both. So I feel like that kind of diluted it a little bit, like what really is R&B versus rap. It blurred the lines a lot. So I think that mixed with the darkness of it, the emotion of it, made it harder to find the traditional like Lloyd club R&B vibes or like the early Usher dancey tunes or Chris Brown in that. And I think that muddled it out a little bit. And then I also think too, the way we consume music has completely changed. So if y'all of course remember 106 in Park, that used to be like a real way to curate your taste.
Shout out to Free, my first crush.
You know what I mean? Like that really would put clearly to here's the top 10, like what even is really mainstream music anymore? That's completely changed. Radio is being listened to a lot less than it used to be as well, which would be another way to put people on the music. So I feel like that also forces the consumption to be much more segmented, and then you have to search deeper to find what really resonates with you, when the mainstream R&B at that time was very much a blur with rap. But then I think with Bryson coming out, Party coming out, that created the new R&B that wasn't just rap and R&B. And then from there, I mean, Bryson's been super successful. Don't probably has like 2 billion streams. SZA came out, she's on top of the world. So I think it's in a great place, but I think that was the switch. And one of the biggest things, again, was even just BPM. Like, it was slower, and I can understand why it wasn't played outside. But if you look deeper, there's plenty of music you can play outside.
And everything is just so fragmented, whether it's music, whether it's movies, TV. Like, there's no monoculture like there was before, where it was like everybody's obsessed with Michael Jackson or everybody's obsessed with, like, Star Wars or, like, these big kind of, like, tentpole franchises.
Even by region, too.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, would Roddy Ricch sound... Because Roddy Ricch is from out here. Would he sound like that in the 90s? I'm sure not. I'm sure not.
So everyone has their, like, little, like, bubble of what they're into, and I don't know if it's like just because everybody's so, like, into their own thing that like it doesn't, like, when you meet somebody that's into the same thing as you, it's like an instant connection, but it's not like you can bring up some of these names and expect somebody else to know them. So it's just interesting to me to see how that works, and you'll have like the occasional person that breaks through that to, like, you know, mainstream and is like sold out like arena tours, but and I think it's better for artists because you can kind of make your own lane and things.
And go straight to your fan.
Exactly.
Straight to consumer.
You don't need to be, you know, doing stadiums or like you could be still doing, you know, 2,000 seat venues, doing tours like that, and still being a pretty successful, like, and being in your own lane and that. So it's interesting.
And I think one thing too, a lot of music media is actually, I'm 28 right now. They're a lot older than me. So if you're, let's say, 45 right now, and you had Usher, you had all these legends, you have no interest to look into the younger artists. And so if you're also controlling the narrative, you have less incentive to talk about anything newer. And you have more of a jaded perspective, / are gonna have more nostalgia over certain older artists and are more likely to not be as accepting of new sounds, new vibes, like when Bryson first came out, Party, all that kind of energy. So I think that's another big shift too, because we went from 106 in Park to kind of like music media, podcasting vibes. And with that being an older demographic, I feel like that also removed some of the opportunity for younger artists to get the shine too.
Yeah, because you have a Joe Budden, and Joe Budden, every time a new artist comes out, he's not liking it. He's one of those,
I will say he supports R&B a little bit more than rap, but rap, he's a hater, bro. Like, he be hating for
and
sure.
he's one of the biggest podcasts out here.
He is,
everywhere.
definitely, So I think that's a big piece as well.
The way music or media in general is being covered, whether it's sports, whether it's art, whether it's music, it's so different now.
Yeah, for sure.
Where there isn't like these magazines or these, like, I mean, the blog era was, I think, the end of that, where you had these like places where you can go to find new music. Now
Dat
it's
Piff,
just
like you had to go to Dat Piff to
Piff,
find that, like to find Currency's new album coming out.
Right.
That OJ and Cushion Orange Juice.
Yeah.
So you
just came out with Cushion Orange Juice too.
I know.
Yeah. I feel like SoundCloud replaced that though. SoundCloud became the new version of it, but it still wasn't the same. Yeah, because you couldn't download it onto your.
You could for some.
Okay.
Not all of them.
But you could find Tekashi and Lil Pump came out of that.
But even then, within
See, that's the thing. Yeah, go ahead.
No, sorry, go ahead.
No, go. You got it. You got it.
What I was gonna say. I'm just kidding. I was just gonna say, I think one of the things that I miss, or like, because I grew up listening to radio from, you know, the drives, the long drives, going to like
Sway and
school
all that,
or like whatever, you know, the case might be, and like in the radio, like you would listen to like up and coming artists, and you'd be like, oh, I wonder who that is, and then you'd go and you'd look them up, and you'd find interest behind them. And I think that's one of the things that I still gravitate towards with radio. And I think one of the places that one of the platforms I still get that from that I want to shout out is Selection. I don't know if you've heard of
Selection. Selection is
Easy.
different level.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's
they're incredible.
The type of platform where you get a mix of like established artists, but also the ones that are up and coming. And I'm like, wait, who is this? And I look them up, and it's like, a young person from the LA area, or like a young person from like the East Coast side, and they only have like 1,000 followers, but they have bangers. And then like you get into that, and like you dig deeper, and you do your research. So Selection for sure is one of the ones that has had me in the mix of like the music movement, from like R&B to like neo soul. I love listening to Selection Radio. Like that's like my go-to.
I would say that everyone I just named with Bryson Party, like they were early to all of that. Isaiah Falls, and Joe K from Selection just dropped his first ever project, which is incredible, which is featuring all the artists that I constantly shout out that people don't know about, like Kari from Oakland, Isaiah Falls from Florida. Aaron Ray, I think, is on that too. He's from Ohio, but he resides in LA now. So that he had Joe K and that whole team, they've like impacted music.
And you know
to
what's
the
so
scale
crazy?
That they're at now.
100%. And I've followed them for a while. So when you dropped Vino Fridays, that was like what came to my mind, like that correlation of like, yo, like this is dope to see a different way of taking in new or like smaller or like up and coming artists through like your perspective and like your reels and your videos, and it reminded me so much of Selection.
They used to do those events too, where they would have like a bunch of like the internet. I saw the internet at a Selection concert in New Year's, and
like way back,
like 2016, New Year 2016. That was my senior year of college, and I was like, this is like crazy. Like, got a bunch of DJs spinning, and like it was one of the like my favorite concerts I ever went to. But like it's
Selection's dope.
And so like kind of carrying that torch or just being inspired from things like that. I think you can find, like you said, like you can find if you look for it, you'll find. Like,
100%.
We're missing the countdown. Like
that's what I was. That's in the 106 in Park. Like what is mainstream? Like
because like I remember 106 Park, like because we were in the West, so I had to be here. I had
school. It'd be
right.
Oh, y'all was mad early.
I had to be.
It would be right after school. You get them.
But at 4, it was Power 106 had Tito's Top 4 at 4.
Oh, okay.
So and that was like him, like it was a guy with a Spanish guy with an accent. Counting down 4. But even another New York countdown that they had reggaeton was Mundo's, the basement. So like just starting to see those, like seeing like my reggaeton sections coming out. Daddy Yankee, like, and then like going to 106 in Park, seeing Mr. 106 in Park Bow Wow out here doing his thing.
Terrence
like,
J, I remember those with Roxy.
But I'm talking about AJ and Free, like.
See, that was before me. But
like that's how like, I was running up. Like, one of my first questions was Free. Like,
bro, if you're watching Free, like, what's up?
Hit him up. He's still single.
He'll be at Vino Vriday. Like, take him out to Vino Vriday. Like,
come through.
Word, that's funny.
Be like, no, but like we are missing the countdown, because I remember like that's how I found my new music, like countdowns. Even 106 Park, it got to a point where it was like the countdown, and they're like a little bit outside of the
Freestyle Friday and all that. I remember.
Blind Fury,
Blind Fury.
It's like
my boy.
Yeah, man, it was great, and they had like the whole Dipset like judging it.
That was
so I think we're missing that. We need to go back to the countdown. MTV doesn't have a countdown no more. It's
hard because, as you said, music media is not like in one place. Everything is just different, and it's mostly like podcasting segmented. Nothing's on real TV anymore too.
MTV is like Rob Dyrdek. That's like
it is
literally all Rob Dyrdek.
He has 95% of their shares. Has to, like, it's ridiculous.
He's got something on whatever Viacom or
absolutely.
But I mean, shouts to him. Like
for sure.
I wanted to go to the fantasy.
I was gonna say too, Joe K and Selection really influenced nightlife and DJing in general too. The whole like boiler room vibe and like the crazy mixes with the people behind you in the vibe. Now every party there's people behind the DJ booth. That was not a thing. The DJ was always here and everyone's
separated.
It feels
that like communal vibe was. I don't know if they're the pioneer, but from my perspective, they're got to be the ones who led that way.
No, Nippa's boiler room was what made me a fan. He was like FNF, he was in the back and they were all going one side.
Facts. I love that song, bro. That song's that is a great example of like fun new R&B that people just don't know about. That's a great example.
But and it's gotten to the point where it almost feels like there's some like clips I see on social media where like that's not real. Like it looks like it's
don't
like
get me started, bro. Like for sure.
Like that can't be a real room where people are doing that. You know, it's like so
it's
like
forced.
staged.
It's forced.
You know, like so if we're almost at the tipping point of that. But I mean, like that's
that's how trends go.
Right? Yeah.
Now they had one Lloyd in the middle of downtown London. singing like "Meet Me on the South Side."
Oh, the DJ AG thing.
Yeah,
he has random people pull up and like perform.
Man, I'm telling you, that's a vibe though.
Yeah, that's different too, because that's like the actual artist, and that's like in the city. It's not even a party. I like that. That vibe's cool. That was a unique perspective on it, I would say. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, man. It's talking music is fun because it's like everybody has their own like segment of things that they listen to and like, so I always love talking, and it's so easy to fall into like the hits, like, you know, I have different playlists on my
TikTok,
where it's like or like the stuff that you grew up on, like, you know, the stuff like you listen to in high school, like that's like always going to be like the music that you like.
I just sent you a reel about
the Kanye 06
unreleased Kanye
verse over
frontin', so like
It was his verse that he did on
Frontin' by Pharrell and Jay-Z.
Yeah, but he did a verse that he also used on the song with Ghostface Killah and Neo.
Yes.
I forget the name of the song.
I don't know about that.
But so he used to do that a bunch where he would like freestyle.
That's everybody. Lil Wayne did.
Yeah.
And then you put it on a multiple.
Yeah. Right. Lil Wayne came on the Basement, and his freestyle was like on this Carter 4 album.
Yeah.
So
have you seen the Games? He has the same
freestyle for
Red Rose, Red Rose, White Roof.
Go ahead, bro. I respect it.
All right, let me come up with something.
Yeah, that's funny.
Red Rose.
He's
White
a troll.
Roof.
Game is definitely a troll.
Game is a troll for real.
Yeah, I used to see him at the Topanga Mall all the time.
Right, I used to see him at Runyon Canyon all the time.
So he really LA through.
LA local.
Local, for real.
He's outside.
Crazy.
Yeah,
literally.
Crazy. But let's get into the footy because I think it's been a wild like stretch. This is like one of the best stretches of the year.
Yeah,
when
for sure.
you know
that Inter Barca game was just like has everybody hyped.
The whole tie,
Both
13 goals.
Yeah.
Like what the hell, man?
Yeah. Well, whether you're talking about Champions League, the end of like the races, and I mean, you know, we got El Clasico coming up this weekend.
Yeah,
like it's such a wild stretch. And, you know, you mentioned earlier, like, you guys are tapped in with La Liga, with Bundesliga. I think last time you were here, you were doing stuff with La Liga in Mexico.
Yeah,
right?
that was crazy. Went to Guadalajara.
So how do you keep up with, like all the, like, it's always interesting to talk to people who cover the sport.
Yeah.
Like, how do you keep up with all the different leagues throughout the season?
I just try to watch as much as I can, honestly. I would say from my personal standpoint, I do more of the La Liga. So I also do like some personal content creation that I do, like submitting videos and things of that nature. So yeah, just trying to stay on top of it as much as I can. Obviously, personally a Real Madrid fan, but I've been mostly like a Betis creator in terms of making content for them, which is fun because my dad's from Sevilla and that's actually his team. Cool. And now they've had a crazy turn since Anthony came through. Yeah. So that's been a fun thing. But yeah, just trying to stay on top of it. It's also cool because for me, it forces me to watch games that's not just the big names / just the teams that I support, and it gives you a much more holistic perspective of La Liga and then certain games in Bundesliga, Serie A, everything going on. So it just makes me a bit more of a fan of the game, and it shows you how beautiful footy is just because there's so much you can enjoy. Yeah. Like, I love basketball. Go Knicks 2-0. That shit is crazy that we're up right now. Yeah. But, like, it's just the NBA for us to watch.
Yeah.
And to have La Liga, Prem, Serie A, Bundesliga, Liga, not to mention MLS, Liga MX, like, there's just so much to enjoy, which is why I think football's special.
And then the other side of it, the women's
and
league.
not even to mention the women's league. Shout out España, Campeones del Mundo también. You know what I'm saying? We out here.
It's just so much to keep up with.
Angel City FC.
Listen, and WSL, there's so much.
Yeah, I mean, so like, let's talk NWSL a little bit because I think that Gotham FC has done, since they did the rebound from Sky Blue. So Sky Blue had like a lot of issues with, you know, the front office, the way they treated the players, and it was a much needed rebrand, both from a aesthetic perspective and like a front office, like the way that they're run now. I feel like, you know, Kevin Durant's in they have a lot of celebrity investors, and you know, Angel City is kind of in that same lane in terms of the vision, both on and off the pitch. We were just at an Angel City event last night where they were talking about the business side of things and how they were run more business savvy. They were built as like a startup company in the sports landscape. Smart. And we've been frustrated with like the results. Yeah. But from a business standpoint, it's something that it seems
it gives you more insight though, because just hearing her talk, she did say the players will come and go. And
I mean, they want to build something that's sustainable.
No, not in a negative way, but like the players will come and go, but like the contribution we do to the community, our story will stay forever. So let's be a brand over what we put in the pitch, which as LA, we are a tough market. Like, we want to see championships.
It's like New York.
Exactly. So like, you want to see championships, you want to see you win. we can care less how the front office, if you guys are even making money, because we don't care about that. We're fans. We just want to see titles coming. But like you seen the inside, I heard talk about like, hey, like what is the story? Like how can we be embedded into the community? Like it gives you a perspective. Like like they're outside. Like you can see them. The girls growing up, they can see a professional team where they can aspire to be at one point, and that was an amazing.
I mean, that was always their mission, was to like build something that is sustainable. That's not just, you know, a sports team for the sake of being a sports team. They want to build something that can last and be
impactful.
Impactful both from a bottom line wise, and from a sporting perspective.
Yeah,
so
it makes sense.
You've seen the bottom line, like you know, they're selling out games. They're doing
the pink is beautiful.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? They got that right for sure.
The branding is great. You know, they're doing like the experience at the stadium is great. So the results will come. Yeah, this year they're having a better run. They did lose 4-0 to Gotham, but they just had a
East Coast, Beast Coast, baby.
They beat the brakes off DC of Spirit last week. Not beat the brakes, but they came back late and after blowing a lead, they blew another lead and then they scored late to win. So
like Inter, bro.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm happy to see the space that NWSL is and the USL W League. W League and the Super League, like what they've been doing. Brooklyn FC.
Shout out Brooklyn FC. Yeah, we had their captain on our podcast.
Yeah, we had Allison on.
Fire!
With
Amazing.
Samantha Rosette as well. So
we're just still waiting for a jersey though.
I know, I'm still waiting for that jersey.
That was the homies for sure.
Big rep.
Yeah,
I love BKFC. Yeah,
I had decided Brooklyn.
Over Bay.
I think so. Well, you know what, the Bay jacket is hard.
Yeah,
but the Bay.
They're in their second season, right?
Bay is their second year.
Okay. Bay is their second season.
And they
did decent last year, right?
Yeah,
they made the playoffs. Yeah, I think they were like 6th or like mid-table playoffs wise.
Because they have Asisa Ashawala, right?
Yeah,
Baller from Barcelona.
Yeah,
she's
Barcelona.
They have a solid.
They got a squad.
Yeah, they got some really good signings. And I think.
And NWSL is improving. I feel it. Like it's good.
Yeah, no, but what I'm liking about the women's soccer in all is that all right. We had college NCAA for the women that was basically like a good league for them to like train during to become World Cup champions so many years. But now that Arsenal has a team, Barcelona has a team, like you can see like the U.S. is struggling to win games now.
Oh
like we was them for a while. Now it's the
competition.
Competition's there.
Right.
Look at Spain. I'm Spanish, bro.
Yeah, that team is too
out of nowhere.
Esther is killing that NWSL
team. Bro, right when Spain said no, let's take the women's game seriously. Give them a decade. They won the World Cup.
Yeah.
It was they flipped it. That was a crazy.
We were
run.
upset that whole World Cup because we were waking up. I just talked about the U.S. Like, well, what are we doing here?
That was in Japan.
It was in Australia.
I knew it was out there. Yeah.
So we were.
I woke up at 6 a.m. for that final. I remember.
We woke up at 3.
See, that's what has me tight, bro. El Clasico at 7:15.
That's true though. That's true.
Around,
though.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's tough out here, bro.
Yeah, and we were gonna do a video for it. And we decided
like a watch along sort of thing.
Yeah, and we decided not to.
Yeah.
And I was up at 3. I remember sending the text. I was like, "Yo, I am glad we are not watching because I would be canceled." Like the stuff that I was saying, I was like, "Bro, this is
at 3 a.m.
At 3 a.m. Like you have no filter, so you're like
you're just tired. Like that's crazy. Yeah.
I mean, we barely made it for the 6 a.m. Copa World Cup final.
Oh, and we did. So
I made it.
Barely.
You did not make it.
Your body made it.
My body.
Who you are did not make it.
So my body was there. A World Cup watch party.
But we had
2022.
2022 in downtown LA.
Game.
But we had the urban pitch. We had the
hurt
urban
my
pitch.
chest, man.
We had the urban pitch party.
So the night before, we had our company outing.
My type of people.
So we had our holiday. So every year we do
Bridget
like
put me to sleep at 4 in the morning.
Because it was a holiday World Cup, which is the weirdest thing ever.
It shouldn't have happened. It should not have
been. I loved it though.
I don't know why we trusted ourselves to do that.
No, dude. I got 30 minutes.
Those are the nights and mornings you remember though.
Yes.
Or don't.
Oh, he doesn't. He does not remember. So
we remember.
Yeah. So
I woke up in Santa Monica like, what am I doing here?
So the plan was do the party, stay at the hotel. We were in Orange County, so like a little bit south.
Okay.
So we stayed in Orange County because the drive to downtown would be quick in the morning. Like it was a Saturday morning, you know, like 6 a.m. like 20 minutes easy. So that was a mistake because we probably didn't go to sleep till like 5. Or I don't even know if like y'all didn't.
So there's no sleep.
I for sure did not sleep.
I'll
tell you that.
No, okay.
I did not sleep.
I remember that.
Did you sober up even?
I was sober-ish. I still felt
sober-ish.
I was just tired.
You know the problem was once we got to the event, my friends were there and they were selling alcohol. They're like, "Let me buy you a shot." I'm like,
yeah.
Mind you, this is like 5:45 a.m.
I went to Wake Up Bridge.
When do you say no?
Because we had conjoining hotel rooms.
Yeah.
So I go, yo, Bridge, like we got to wake up. She turned and looked at me because she thought I was Julio. Like
that wasn't me.
Okay, fine. Oh no, you're right. It wasn't me. It was somebody else. There's somebody else. There's somebody else in the room, like keeping us up.
Don't put that on me.
You're right. You're my fault. My fault, Julio. I don't mean to do that.
You thought it was the person who was ruining it.
Yes. And so she turns around and like gives me this look, and I go, "We gotta go," and she goes. And then Julio, we lost Julio. We had to do the thing by ourselves.
We showed up to the event and we're looking around the space and I'm like, "Where's Julio?" And
I see him with
I don't know. And then we see him with glasses on. We're like, "Oh,
it's over,
bro." I was with the people though.
I was with the people.
I was doing my thing.
God.
Like
it was.
Let's just say it was a time.
Yeah, a vibe was had.
Yeah.
When did the game start for y'all?
I don't remember.
I think it was at 7. I think it was a 7 a.m. start, but we had
I remember it was kind of early even on the East Coast.
Yeah, we had to be there at like 5:30 to set up.
That's too early to watch a game of that magnitude,
right?
And that 3-3 overtime penalty. Yeah. That's just like 7 a.m. is crazy.
The crazy part is like all I remember is like Argentina like beating us. So like, I'm just gonna have fun. So
and they were not.
So like I go, I'm like, I can't believe they won 2-1. And they're like, dude, there was a whole other game. I'm like, they were like, there was a whole, they won the penalties. I'm like,
3-3, best game ever. Mbappe hat trick. Like, is he going to be the GOAT?
I thought Argentina won 2-1. Like, I was like, oh man, what a good game. Like, no, that did not happen. Like,
I mean, but you talk about like greatest games like I've ever watched. Like that one is up there.
Yeah.
Honestly, the two Milan Barcelona games like were in there, or Inter Barcelona, I should say.
Yeah.
Another underrated one that most people probably wouldn't have was the MLS Cup final, LAFC and Philly. 2022.
Oh yeah.
Unreal.
Gareth Bale, like.
That was too much. And that year, Philly lost in the final of everything.
Right.
Yeah.
So for them, that's like, how much worse could it be?
Yeah.
Tough. Like,
yeah.
I honestly thought it was over. I thought it was
we were there. We were at the game.
Dude, that was probably the best, like, moment of like my soccer experience that I've ever had so far.
Like physically in person.
Yeah, physically in person. Like being there, witnessing that. And the whole time I was like, not an ounce of alcohol. I was like, no, like I don't want like nothing near me.
Yeah.
Like I'm trying to be here 100%.
Me too.
Yeah.
I kid you not. Literally like a minute before the Gareth Bale goal, I was I had like a tear in my eyes. And I'm like, there's no way we can lose this.
Yeah. It was
and
in
then
LA.
Boom.
It was in LA.
Yeah.
It was in LA.
Yeah, bro, like I have a Galaxy fan.
We went
he's a
crazy.
homie.
Yeah,
he was texting me like, oh, probably next year. Literally like. That's when cheeky.
You have to wait till the final whistle or the final buzzer in basketball. Never. No.
That's when Cheeky just like he was running down the sideline, cross the ball, and Gareth Bale just gets up. Like, but what a great story for Gareth Bale. he cannot be the player that we all thought he was gonna be because he was injured the whole time.
Yeah.
But he showed up when
he still scored a bike in the Champions League final. Though. I mean, like
he is the epitome of what I'm like. I want to aspire to Gareth Bale's level of like. I'm good enough to where I could take golf more seriously than my real job, but still show up when time. Like,
bro,
I know his time at Madrid didn't end like the best.
First few years were fire though.
But
as
now,
a Madrid fan,
now Madrid fans looking back, like you can't, like, dude, that guy's a legend. Like the Copa del Rey goal that he scored, the Champions
Mark
League goal,
Bartra's still running, bro.
He's
still running.
Bro, he hit a whole.
He's still like, bro.
He just shows up and
ran all the way to Sevilla.
If you go back to the MLS documentary for that final. Like the coach has even says like he's like, hey, how do you feel, Gareth? He's like, I'm not 100%, but if you need to go, put me in.
Yeah.
Literally what he said.
Yeah, and
I'm just so mad that he didn't take a penalty though. I wanted him to take a penalty.
He would have banged it in too.
He would have. Yeah.
He scored one against USA in the World Cup, if I'm not mistaken.
He did because it was a terrible Walker Zimmerman, man. That was a terrible foul late in the game. That first half of that Wales game, that was the best I ever seen in the U.S.
Shout out to Kellen for giving that foul because we would have lost that game.
Yeah, Kellen.
Yeah, that was Kellen, right? Yeah.
He came on the pod and was like, hey, how did you feel?
He was on the championship team as
well.
I was like, what happened? Like, what happened? And he's like, I'm just mad I didn't hit him harder.
Yeah, that competitive.
Yeah,
bro. U.S. men's national team, not to switch subjects, but like the fall off.
We need more Kalens in the team. Like that mentality of just like, hey,
because the talent is better than before.
Yeah. The talent level is.
It's just as a unit. It's like Brazil talent right now. You have individual unreal. Put them on a pitch. They're what, 5th in Copa?
But the thing is,
and they low key need to be Ecuador or something coming up. Like they're not in like a very safe standing.
The thing right now is like Brazil doesn't have like they're not playing free. They want to play. They want to play tactics like no, like Joga Bonito go.
That's why Ancelotti will be the good coach because he doesn't use tactics.
Let Rodrigo,
and I mean that as a compliment. He acts just like just be free.
Let Rodrigo be.
That's how Madrid was successful.
Do this thing. Like
he's the perfect guy for that like to manage all those like egos and stars, like
because you can't say nothing to Carlo, bro. It's Carlo, like
exactly.
I won it all, bro.
Yeah, and their manager like before it was Dorival Jr. Like I never heard of him before. He was like shouts to the Brazilian Serie A. I think is underrated, but
it's getting better too.
But I don't think to manage like guys like Vinicius, Rafinha, like all these guys, like you need somebody with that like pedigree.
The top echelon.
Like I mean, we're talking about like in the U.S. Like we're like we need like a top pedigree guy. Like Brazil is like 10 times more than that.
You need a guy. You need a guy that has won it all and then knows what he's talking about.
But for the U.S. man, like these the last tournament that they played in, like we were watching that before we
the Nations League one, right?
The Nations League, and the lack of I don't know what it was.
Fight, bro.
It was.
They
really
think with talent they can win games. And you can. But like you need to run a little extra. You need a Dennis Rodman in the team. Like he's gonna like slide down on the
Tyler
ground.
Adams at times can be that. You know what I mean?
Dude, I think his like injuries was like because that World Cup run.
Yes, him
Musa,
as the
McKinney,
6 in the middle. Yeah,
and Musa McKinney, that midfield. Like I was that was the most fun I ever had watching the U.S. men's.
And it was like the type of thing like as a stock. Like, I'm gonna invest in y'all going up, and then injuries, bro. It's tough. But Johnny Cardoso at Betis is doing really well.
I saw him today.
And he missed the Nations League actually. I think he might be the guy to step up if they're not fully healthy.
But we do need a Tyler Adams. Like I don't think the team has that somebody that is gonna get on people's face for no reason. Like dude, why are you starting this fight for? You need that guy in the team.
Word.
And like we used to as the U.S. like they used to have that player all the time.
Yeah, and I think Kellen was that guy, but he was getting crazy minutes, crazy minutes across like club and international play. And like you're starting to see like guys like Danny Carvajal for Real Madrid. Like he was playing crazy minutes with Spain and with Real Madrid. Like teams that have like really good national teams and are on really good club teams that are playing like these absurd minutes, like, and now with the Club World Cup expanding, like the congestion in the schedule is just
there's no break.
It's hard to be sustainable.
And Serginho Dest just came out with some comments as well.
Serginho Dest?
Yeah, what did he say?
He said we need more fight. Like and
I thought he was talking about the schedule.
No, he was just talking about like we need more fight as a team, as a nation. So.
He's been hurt a lot too.
Yeah, and I hope he comes back because like honestly, like
he's the type of guy to get a red card for no reason.
Yeah, for his club, he's not the like. It's been a lot of things going on when he plays PSV. Club. Like, but with the U.S., he's our guy. Like,
he found a nice spot at PSV though.
Yeah,
he found a nice spot.
PSV got a few Americans. Malik Tillman too. Richard Ledesma was there. Like they got a little squad.
Pepe,
for sure.
Pepe was
Pepe, of course. Yeah. We'll see. I think people are dragging it a little bit with Pochettino because it's like you really only judge yourselves, especially the U.S. It's really just the World Cup. Even Gold Cup, it is what it is. It's really the World Cup.
Gold Cup isn't even what it is anymore.
But because now like they're only using the MLS guys, not the full. It's like
it's because of the timing. It's like right before the club season starts. So
Jamaica's bringing them EPL guys.
They need to though.
Yeah, like,
they need to.
They're gonna bring the region, but it's not even like the smaller.
Because they're more talented than the success they've seen recently.
Yeah, and then like the smaller island teams are bringing them too. So it's just gonna bring this region and make it better. So like if you can't make it to England, you have 4 or 5 different nations y'all can play for.
Yeah.
So
it's real.
I can't wait for that. Like this World Cup was gonna bring them there because it's a good chance. The U.S., Canada, and Mexico are out. I'm Salvadorian. It hurts me to say, but like Salvador ain't gonna do anything. Guatemala ain't gonna do nothing.
Yeah.
Costa Rica ain't gonna do nothing. Honduras just.
Costa Rica. I don't say about Costa Rica. I think they still.
They got that one quarterfinal, bro.
It's trash.
They got that one quarterfinal.
Keylor Navas is still kicking. Where's he playing now? He's playing.
He's playing
he's
in
not
Brazil.
Retired, but he's somewhere. There
he's playing in Brazil, Internacional, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah. No, he's great. El Salvador, like we could have won the game against Costa Rica, like 90th minute.
Could have, right?
Bro, the ball was right there. He just did like boom, like Keylor, like bro.
A lot of could haves in sports, man.
Yeah. I get so mad with his history because He was the best player in Real Madrid, like best goalie in Real Madrid for a while.
Keylor?
Yeah, and like they never gave him the credit he deserved. He was winning champions.
Yeah. I low-key be forgetting sometimes.
He was winning champions.
I mean,
and people,
he could be the best CONCACAF player of all time. Like
probably.
Who else? I mean, Alfonso Davies, I think, will be
El
there
Mágico
eventually.
González.
What's his face? Hugo Sanchez?
Hugo Sanchez.
Nah, El Mágico González was way better than him. Do y'all Google?
So?
Who? Yeah, El Mágico González played for Cádiz, a Salvadorian guy. Maradona.
Well, Hugo Sanchez is like top 10 all-time Real Madrid.
Maradona was like, there was only one player in the Liga that I aspired to be. It was El Mágico González.
He might have had the skill, but like career accolades, Hugo Sanchez is probably the one. Hugo Sanchez, I'd say.
I don't even like his fro.
You a hater.
Fro was whack.
I hate the way you walked, the way that you talked.
Me, I'm tight as fuck, boy.
List it off.
That's so funny. I think we'll figure it out, though. I think we'll figure it out for the World Cup.
Yeah, I mean,
minimum round of 16.
Oh man, I'll be so glad if that happens.
The issue is without qualifying though, there isn't that many like competitive.
Yeah, the prep.
There's not a lot of competitive soccer that the team's gonna be playing, especially if we're not like rostering
fully
our
fielding.
A team at the Gold Cup.
Yeah,
because it's the Gold Cup and then like some friendlies here and there. One thing that I did see though is they're bringing back the Unity Cup. Have you seen that in England?
The Trinidad, Jamaica, Ghana,
exactly.
Nigeria.
So like I think it was like 2004. They did like Ireland, Jamaica. It was like all the diasporas in London that were like had high populations. They did like a whole.
I didn't know it was it happened before. I didn't know.
Yeah, it happened in 2004, and they're bringing it back. Okay. They're bringing it back now, like to introduce like more competitive like. Because like Nations League, it's just like whatever to me at least. But like to bring
the
back
Euro Nations League is good though.
What's that?
I think the UEFA Nations
League. It's because like you're playing like high level competition.
Yeah.
Like you know. But if they were to do something like that here, where
I see what you're saying.
You know, like if like you come to LA and you have like the Korean national team, El Salvador national team,
that'd be fun
Mexican
too.
national team, and US national team,
just
like
for
a mini tournament.
The vibes in the city, that'd be fun.
You know what I mean? Like that. I feel like more tournaments like that where you go to like New York and like you have like. The Ireland national team, the Italian national team.
You could do everybody in New York.
Exactly. Yeah. You could just put whoever. Like Spanish national, like whoever.
Italians for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. But I mean, like, I think that's a really cool idea to kind of like put like, a slant on international competition.
It's cool.
Because like there's always this like, besides the major tournaments, like it's hard to get like high level competition.
They used to have them too. If you ever like go to the Wikipedia of like players from the 90s, there'd be these really random tournaments and everything. That's even like Catalonia at times had a team, which is confusing. You know what I mean? So like Guardiola played on them and Spain, so they did even like these side teams. Like there used to be stuff like that. So I think they're low key bringing it back.
Spain, like, and they'll do it like
which is a whole political thing too, and then Bilbao and the Basque Country.
Right.
But
there's like crazy political stuff with
I know.
Well, we don't have to get into that.
But Catalonia kids are sick as hell too, though.
The Catalonia ones, the yellow and the red. Those go hard. There is some other stuff that I wanted to get into, but before we get into that, I want to talk about 5ASIDE because what you guys have been doing. I want to give you the chance to talk about that because we've been kind of all over the place today, but
of course,
you briefly mentioned the stuff that you've been doing with the different leagues, but talk about just like how you guys have grown in the last couple of years, because that to me that's something that's been inspiring to watch from out here.
No, for sure, I appreciate it. I'd say we scaled the podcast itself, you know what I mean, which was just honestly just staying really consistent with the content, both like the long form YouTube and then turning that into the social clips and making sure through that process that we were always really being ourselves and speaking to the purpose of why we started the platform, which was to be the sort of people covering the sport in a way that we hadn't seen before and really highlighting Black culture throughout the whole diaspora in soccer, and then specifically to a Black American audience. So I think that's what's been really special about it, is to have such high engagement, but not doing it by being clickbaity or doing like this player is the GOAT. Like, you know what I mean? None of that. Like being truly ourselves and having that be part of the growth. Through that, then our connection to Relevant is how we got connected to all the big leagues, because they do like the marketing for these big
all
leagues.
Types of
you know what I mean? And so then now it's like, okay, we have the podcast arm, but then like we're doing consulting for these major leagues, and we're also doing content creation for them. So that's why we also rebranded, I think, early 2024 from 5ASIDE podcast to overall 5ASIDE media, because we do more than that. And then we got into like some fashion stuff. So we did a digital magazine with Edwin Cedillo, MLS champion, with LA Galaxy. And then the other player was actually Kyle Duncan, New York Red Bulls. So two finalists, which was really cool for us. So they were, in New York with us. Shout out CJ, the stylist, who styled them for the shoot, did a whole photo shoot, did a cover for them, like an interview with them. So like that would be the graphics throughout, having them explain their story while being in like all these different, fashion pieces and whatnot. So then there's like that kind of editorial piece, and we did some Black History Month editorial stuff for MLS, which was really cool. And then the events have been scaled to a new level. So doing a few different tournaments that were like 16 teams for a cash prize, but then the one with Las Palmas where we actually sent people to Spain and also had a cash prize. So really just trying to like scale it in all types of ways, digitally with the podcast, working with the leagues, both camera facing and behind the scenes, helping them out, and then activations, fashion stuff, and really just making it like this overall conglomerate of a bunch of different things we do. And then we just have more ambitions to continuously scale each one of those verticals and create new verticals as well. So it's been really good, and we've just been hustling and making it happen, honestly.
Y'all working big time.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Overtime.
Thank you. It's been really fun. It's been really good. Yeah, Nivea, our first brand deal, that was huge for us. Being part of Nivea Men FC.
We saw that.
And the fact that they're the men's grooming partner to Real Madrid, the team I grew up watching, and like they had us in Chicago. Flew us first class to Chicago. I got to meet Roberto Carlos.
That's crazy.
And we got training with like a Madrid Academy coach. Like it was,
and
just crazy stuff. And
didn't you do like modeling for a Madrid kid, or like
Real
Spain?
Sociedad. Yes. So that's all through the relevant La Liga stuff. And that was actually officially on their page. So it was the 100-year anniversary of Eduardo Chillida, I think is the name, a famous sculptor from San Sebastian, Spain. And so that was their third kit was a dedication to this famous sculptor from their city. And so they did a shoot in New York. Sebastian shot it of me in New York City. They had some people in Japan. And then Xabi Prieto, a retired midfielder back in San Sebastian, also did it as well. So they posted the carousel, which was funny because it was super fly, and it actually got some hate comments. They're asking like, what are we a team for? Somos un equipo del Bronx, because I had like my grill and shit. But it's like, this is why we're making your jersey look cooler. Right. So it actually got some hate, but it's like, this was a good thing. But then you kind of see like the cultural not understanding of these smaller teams that like, to have a global brand, you need to do cool shit like this in New York, in Japan, but instead you're coming at it from a negative standpoint.
But that's why you guys, that's what 5ASIDE Media is. It's like breaking that barrier, breaking that glass ceiling to show and represent on a global level.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is San Sebastian a Basque team?
San Sebastian, yep.
Yeah, so the Basque countries are very like protective of their culture and of their, so like I could see them, like kind of being like a little bit.
They even post often in Basque,
right? Yeah,
which is a language that has no correlation to any other language on planet Earth.
It's one of the most
unique.
Not even Spanish, nothing. Just like it's just X's and a bunch of
Like it doesn't. It's like I wouldn't even know what to
translate.
Because they were isolated, I believe, in the Pyrenees Mountains. So when they were isolated, way back before it was easy to get over mountains and stuff, they just developed their own language that no one had any correlation to.
That's insane.
So it's not like Latin, it's not like Spanish, it's just
essentially their own dialect.
And then eventually, obviously, they became Spanish.
I don't know if you watched Parts Unknown with Anthony Bourdain, but he does a great episode in San Sebastian.
Great food there. I've been there.
Dude,
great food.
It's one of the best episodes of he's like my idol. He's like my
R.I.P. man.
R.I.P. to him.
R.I.P. What a legend.
That episode is one of my favorite ever of that show. But it's crazy, like the culture and the history of the Basque nation.
When I was in Bilbao at an Airbnb, so I studied abroad in Madrid in like 2017 in college. I went to Bilbao and then San Sebastian for like our fall break. And in Bilbao, in our Airbnb, they had a map of the world, but Basque Country was its own country with its own flag and everything.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah. And the people, like the hosts, older Basque people, I was like, do y'all know Spanish? I feel like they only knew Basque. Like that's how much they're into their culture at times. It was crazy.
There's a lot like I said, like in Spain, like it's crazy political, like regional,
even right now.
Geographical.
And it's crazy because this is hundreds of years ago. This is not remotely recent.
Right.
So the fact they still hold on is kind of incredible. Obviously, sometimes it goes too far. I don't know if y'all have ever heard of ETA and all this they did, but
I think it's something in the news like not so long ago about them like trying to kick out tourists out of the country. Because like they're
that's
like
a whole tourism issue. Because that's also in Barcelona and places like that.
They're saying like it's 20 people coming in at one time, so they're throwing water at them while they're at eating. Like get out of my country. Like
the prices are rising in some of those places. Like Barcelona is cool, but it's very touristy and you can feel it. And that was I was last there in 2017. So I can imagine now, and as the prices rise for locals, like they feel like, bro, y'all taking over our city. Compared to Madrid, to me, Madrid feels more like a New York. Obviously, it's touristy, but there's just so much more to it. Barcelona, especially being a beach town, kind of like LA, at some places just feel like straight the way Hollywood feels. You know what I mean? That's how I feel when I'm in Barcelona.
Interesting. That was kind of like a sneak job at LA.
No, I like LA. I'm here, right? Like
interesting. I see that there. I see that. No.
East Coast side.
Hey, Timberlands anyways.
I'm joking.
What's up, bro?
Totally joking. No. But I want to talk about New York versus LA because I think that's like a big thing. Like
it is.
And the New York, it's like soccer coverage. Like we see it. Like it's a great community that you have. LA's kind of like there, but still growing in that sense. But can you talk about like the New York City like soccer community and the soccer scene that's out there? Yeah,
there's just a ton of people. Shout out like for instance Cooligans, another podcast. And it's cool that they do it as comedians. Like actual stand-up comedians on top of that. Like that's super cool, super unique. There's a bunch of different agencies. For instance, Relevant Sports, their offices in New York. These different leagues have offices in New York. Just a bunch of different content creators. Shout out my homegirl Antonelli. She did social media for Gotham FC. They've got a great presence. Shout out everybody who works at New York City FC, like Kwame. They did a Black History Month feature on our boy Kendrick, who works at MLS. So that was super cool.
That was a great interview.
So I appreciate that. Shout out Kendrick. That's my boy for real. The New York scene is amazing. Tons of amazing photographers, videographers, a lot of like soccer fashion people too. So shout out like Full Kit Wankers, World FC. It's just an amazing scene. And we actually hosted an event. Do y'all know the location No One Home, owned by Cal Martino, former U.S. men's national team player?
So that's
like
the
guy, right?
Yeah, he owns his own venue.
And so they were building that into the football, or what do they call it? They were built. They had the
classic.
Where nowhere FC was. They had the football cafe. Football cafe.
That's somewhere else. But that was, I don't think
so.
I've
that
been.
Was something different. And
I believe so.
Cal Martino was trying to build like a 3-story.
Yeah, he did build it.
Yeah, and then but he had Susan Sarandon was like an investor. Like he has a crazy
huge stuff.
Huge stuff.
So that's a super cool venue. We've done events there before. We called it a Connecting Culture Night. So we just brought in a bunch of people from like the New York City soccer scene. So we had people that work at MLS, people from different teams, Brooklyn FC, 5 of the players came. We had different media people, content creators, photographers, videographers. So it's really a beautiful scene. I'd probably say it's the best in the country, but I think LA's is really good too. I think y'all are doing great stuff. Football Boutique is out here. Classic Football is both here. And
they're in Miami. They're all over the place.
Or Saturday's football too. Saturdays.
Tony, shout out to
y'all have like the Venice thing is crazy. Guys, they had Leao and McKennie and all those people. So I think LA has a great scene too.
They had Ronaldinho there too.
Wow.
Yeah, they did.
Got that Nike connection.
Yeah,
Nike
there you go.
artists,
Yeah.
So New York's amazing, but LA's got a great scene too, for sure.
It's something that I'm like interested in terms of just like being here in LA and from LA, like, and just seeing like the way the two cities operate. Like there's always like competition, but also like just a very different ways of operating. Like
the opposite.
Like
exactly. Just even today, like renting a car, like what am I doing driving? The whole concept
you had to rent a car?
Rented a car. Yeah, I drove from LAX to Hollywood, all that.
Okay.
Like that's like what? Like
parking. Hour and 25 minutes.
You know what I'm saying? It was only 45.
Burbank, dude. You should have flown to Burbank.
Parking meters and this and that and all these like
parking
just
permits.
Bro,
dude, the signs, parking signs, they make them confusing on purpose.
So confusing. 2 hours, 8 to this thing, but this date, nah, bro.
But you need a pass.
Yes.
Permit
required.
I'm just trying to take the L to the 6 train, like, you know what I mean? That's how I operate. Walking around is different here. So the cities operate very differently, and I'll say in New York, I feel like there is a little bit of hate for LA, to be honest. Just in terms of how the cities operate, they think y'all are super fake. But I always say that's the transplants. I feel like LA, I'll say this, I feel like New York, you can experience New Yorkers easier than in LA experiencing people from LA. It's much more experiencing the transplants. And I think it's because of how wide and spread out it is and the need of driving between different places.
Right.
New York, you cannot avoid New Yorkers. You cannot. It's impossible.
I think 70% of the people who complain about living in LA, like moved from somewhere else. And
Colorado, like to me, Ohio.
And to me,
they're complaining about the transplants more.
No one says people from the neighborhood are like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So,
and like it might look nice. Like you can make a wrong left turn.
We know. We know, bro. We know. Yeah. Nah, LA is now, I feel like at this point it's known for that.
Yeah.
But it's always nice to kind of bring us together and obviously have these kind of conversations because there is that like in-depth like if you know, and like you have to have that understanding to be able to like flush out all the like where that hate is coming from.
And LA, like, culturally is unbelievable. What y'all doing in music right now. Kendrick Lamar, that alone, crazy. Then you add Tyler, the Creator, crazy. You get into the R&B with, like, Blast and Vino Vriday with the melodic rap, and Kaylin Ferrell, then the women like Kehlani. Well, that's California overall. Right. But Janae Aiko, she's also in the Bay. But just California music in general, but LA specifically, going crazy, I would say.
What's his name? Sorry. Mimi by the Bean, Gervonta. He's a Compton guy as well. I don't think people, like, always... put him down here, even though he's one of ours.
Yeah, it's. I think the music, and it's because things used to be so regional. Yeah, where there's like a West Coast sound. Yeah, there was like the South, the East Coast, like
Texas and all that.
Yeah. But now everything is just like it's someone like A$AP Rocky who's like using Houston influence,
but
like
from Harlem,
and like an Eastern, like a East Coast, like, and people were kind of hating on that at the beginning, but now it's just like everyone has their like the melting pot of like different sounds, but the West Coast still kind of has that.
I like it though.
Yeah.
That
like,
y'all bounce is infectious.
It's like the car door slamming. Yeah. You know, like that sound on all the songs. Like Mustard had his run like in the mid 2010s, like and still doing like crazy stuff. But I think the regional sound is still like, I mean, you still have like New York rap still has that kind of like New York, like Joey Badass and them are still doing like their stuff. But I think like there's especially the Bay too. The Bay more so than anybody.
The Bay
more than anybody. They held on.
Bay doesn't care if they move out of the Bay though.
Right.
A Bay artist, as long as they're popping in the Bay, they can care less about the rest of the world.
Yeah.
It's different. It's a different mindset. I would say.
They love their own and they want to be themselves.
Yeah. But one thing that we do when we have like pro players on is we talk about the pregame playlist. Okay. And so for this time, like, I know I don't know if you still play or not, but we're talking about pregame, like not pregame, but like pregame, you know,
pre-a game,
or just like pre.
Oh, now we're talking about pregame,
pre-Vino night. What are we doing before we go to the event?
Vino Friday.
Yeah, so this is our pregame.
Or pregame before you go outside of
what Vino we sipping on, what music listening to.
Wow, that's fire. Okay. If we're gonna keep it West Coast for a little bit, Vino Vriday. Is that how you say his last name?
Yeah.
Or Vino Vriday, fire, doing your stuff, crazy, out of line with Ty Dolla $ign, crazy. Kaylin Ferrell, with heavy. Yeah. That's why I like that West Coast sound. Kari, he's from the Bay Area. Super tough. Do y'all know Nueve Leo? I think he's from somewhere in SoCal. He's a young up and coming R&B singer too. So those would be some West Coast sounds. In terms of like wherever. On the like smoother side, I'd say Isaiah Falls from Florida. Yeah. He just dropped his side A of his debut album. So he's actually dropping his debut album in 2 pieces. He has a side A and a side B. But side A was incredible. 21 minutes, no skips.
You put me on that. I've been on it. On repeat.
Yeah, just like you, there's nothing to skip. Fire. Nothing.
It goes from like vibing to like wanting to be in love to like turning up.
Yeah, one song, Trick Daddy. Low-key has a little Bay Area beat too. I think that's the song. So like those artists a lot. Who else? Kendrick always, Drake always would definitely be in there. I love a lot of UK music too. So Nippa's fire, O'Deal is fire.
I didn't even know Nippa was from the UK.
Yeah, he's from Tottenham. Yeah. He's from Tottenham, like the neighborhood Tottenham. Interesting. Yeah. Usually we just hear that and think about the team, but he's from the neighborhood. Yeah. There's just so many artists. I could open my playlist right now and just like start calling people out.
You know who I have on replay right now? I think he's from New York. Capella, the one
Capella Gray?
Yeah, Capella Gray. That Baychester song he had.
Yeah, it's funny. I made a hot take. I don't want to say this. I'll say it. I made a hot take a few years ago. Like, he could become the East Coast Ty Dolla $ign. Yeah. I don't think that really panned out. but he's a good New York hook artist for sure.
Well, like if you listen to
and it's very album, like New York melodic. Yeah.
And he has a little Jamaican, like
he's Jamaican from Bronx. Yeah.
So man, he's on replay as well.
He's tough.
It's the same as Nippa. So
yeah. For New York stuff, Sexy Drill for sure. Sexy Drill is very infectious sounds. So like Cash Cobain, Chow Lee, all that sort of stuff. Yeah, I don't know if they listen that much out here, but we'll play some tomorrow.
Yeah. I remember in high school, like that whole Dipset era, Rockefeller era. Oh yeah. For me was just like crazy. York, like, I'm embarrassed to say this now, but I wanted them the S
pink
Carter.
Coat?
No, the pink coat as well for sure.
Wait, why are you embarrassed?
No, because like they didn't plan out because the G Units were the same thing. Like
Dude, the S-Dots,
you was part of the beef, like.
I feel like the S-Dots still, like, they have a respect. Like, it's not like, I mean, they weren't like transcendent, like to where they're like, you know, an all-time sneaker.
I'll still rock
but
them.
in the moment, like the G Units and Reebok, like kind of had like a moment for a minute.
Yeah.
And then I think Kanye kind of like, he said, Reebok, baby, you need to try new things. Like, and I think that kind of killed their momentum.
Have you ever tried shoes without shoe strings?
Yeah, you know, like, but.
Party Next Door. I'm just looking at playlist. Party Next Door,
yeah, for sure.
I used to have the K-Swiss G Unit collab.
Who else?
They had a K-Swiss too?
Yeah, they did.
That's that Chola vibe though. You did. That's crazy. That's crazy. He was banging on those. That's crazy.
That's hilarious. Listen, we're running out of time, so we gotta wrap things up here. That's an insane place to leave this up.
Bryson Tiller, Party Next Door. I was just looking for some other names.
Bryson, Clockwork's my song to this day.
Which one?
Clockwork.
From the anniversary?
Yeah.
This guy knows his. Listen, he's dialed in.
He's always tapped in. He's always tapped in.
I love it.
But Gabe, it's always a pleasure to talk to you. Always
pleasure to talk to y'all, man.
We're happy that you were able to come by in person.
Had to.
This has been great. I can't. We're looking forward to tomorrow event. We'll do a
fun,
recap.
We'll
do the social media vlog, all that.
I love it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to behave.
Nah, don't behave, bro.
Can't make no
run
promises.
up the bar.
No promises though.
Hey, if it's R&B and wine, I don't know.
The dangerous mix.
That's real quick. That's the funny thing. It's called Vino Vriday. I'm the only person in there sipping wine. Exactly. Like no one cares about the wine part, but like when it's the late night 10 to whatever, ain't nobody care about wine.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna be there with my glass, so you know you can have a good time.
We'll have them with you.
Yeah, I'll take a Pinot with you.
Just the first of 7. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. First to 7.
We'll see how far he makes
like that.
it.
This has been another episode of the Urban Bitch Podcast, The Beautiful Game of Life. Early mothers are Gabe Guisado.
Yes, sir.
Bridget Flores. I'm Ramsey Abushala. We'll see you next time.
Yeah. Peace.